purchased a pair of one of Grant Stone's most popular offerings, the Diesel boot. If you're unfamiliar with the brand Grant Stone, they're a relative newcomer to the shoe industry. In fact, they only started in 2016. Like many new companies in the shoe boot space, Grant Stone is a direct-to-consumer company with their manufacturing in China. But don't let that scare you. While there are plenty of cheap goods that are manufactured in China, there are also a lot of high-quality items that come out of there as well. When I first received these boots, I was so excited about the color. I opted for the navy and it really does look beautiful. Not to mention, they smell amazing. Hey, not all leather goods do. Some smell much more like the chemicals they use to dye the leather, or they can also smell like glue, and it often isn't pleasant. That was not a problem here. All of Grant Stone's leather comes from the US, and much of it is tanned in Italy. Then from there, the leather is shipped to their factory in China, where the boots or shoes are made. Then finally, it's shipped back to their warehouse in Michigan, where the boots are distributed. It seems odd to me that all of that shipping is less costly than just making the boots in the US, but hey, I guess they know what they're doing. The leather uppers on these boots are Navy Horween Chromexcel, so they're not tanned in Italy, but they're still built in China. While the official color is navy, they do have this turquoise hue to them that just comes and goes when the light touches it. Depending on the lighting, they look completely different, and it's just gorgeous. Like I mentioned, they're Chromexcel, so basically everyone's favorite leather. Super easy to take care of, pretty easy to break in. These boots don't require a ton of polishing or maintenance, but on the rare occasion that you want to give the leather a good once over, they recommend you use Venetian's shoe cream. As for hardware, the Diesel boots have substantial brass hook and eyelets. Some people complain that the speed hooks jut out a little bit too much. Personally, I don't see this as an issue. The larger speed hooks are necessary for the thick leather laces that come with the boot, and personally, I prefer the look of leather laces over cotton ones. But I suppose this is something to consider before purchasing. The boots feature a leather insole and a full-grain vegetable tanned leather lining, which ends up making the thickness of the boots a considerable 4 millimeters. Despite the fact that the boots are a little bit on the thicker side, that doesn't compromise comfort. Chromexcel is a rich, lustrous leather and doesn't take long to break in. The leather lining is soft and supple on my feet. The Diesel boot has been compared favorably to the Higgins Mill boot from Allen Edmonds in terms of the last, being a plain toe, and just generally being that work boot hybrid. I own a pair of Allen Edmonds Higgins Mill, and up until this point, they have been my most comfortable pair of boots. But surprisingly, the Grant Stone Diesel boots are just as comfortable. The Diesel features a corkbed midsole with a steel shank. The corkbed midsole helps the insole conform to your feet, while the steel shank gives the boot more structure, arch support, and helps maintain the overall shape of the boot. The shank will stop the boot from bowing. You're not going to get that awful boat-looking effect that you see with cheaper boots. These boots fall into the category of smart casual or dressy work boot. They're definitely something you could wear if you were visiting a work site, but I wouldn't recommend them for daily use in an outdoor job. These boots are Goodyear welted with a 360-degree welt. It's not a storm welt, but I wouldn't worry too much about that. These boots are dressy enough that you shouldn't be wearing them in a marsh. If you get caught in the rain, just wipe them off when you come inside and you should be fine. The welt, insole, and midsole are all a veg tanned leather. The outer sole is similar to a day-night sole. They call it a micro stud rubber sole. It's a medium density compound rubber and it seems fine. The heel stack is a full grain leather, which is a nice touch at this price point. Even Allen Edmonds only offers a particle leather board for their heel stack. As far as traction goes, I have worn them in the rain and they offer pretty good traction in less than ideal weather conditions. Now the 4 millimeter thickness combined with the rubber outsole does make these boots pretty substantial and weighty. I weighed them at 1.75 pounds each. So yeah, you're not gonna feel like you're wearing a pair of sneakers. Now let's talk fit, because if they don't fit, then none of the rest of it matters. I purchased my Diesel boots in a standard men's size 7 in a D width, which is a half size smaller than I normally would because they run big. When you look at this boot, it's definitely not a slender silhouette, especially when you compare it to some of my other boots. Still, it's not as bulky as most work boots. The name of the last for this boot is the Leo, and according to Grant Stone, it runs about a half size larger than standard sizing. For me, I have a little bit of room around my toes, but the heel fits pretty snug. This model is available in a D, E, and triple E width, and they also have a sizing guide where they go into details about the different lasts, so you should be able to find the right fit. With all that said, they fit pretty well and are quite comfortable. I didn't get any rubbing when I was breaking them in, which was a concern for me because the leather is a little thick. I was pleasantly surprised. The overall comfort is great, and they are one of the most comfortable pairs of boots in my growing collection. Like I mentioned earlier, my Higgins Mill boots have been the most comfortable pair of boots I have owned so far, but the Grant Stones are right there with them. Okay, so they're made in China. But if you didn't know that ahead of time, you probably wouldn't have guessed that when you got them. The stitching has no fraying, the construction seems sound and tight, they're really well made. My Allen Edmonds Higgins Mill boots are made in America. And honestly, I can't see a difference in quality between those boots and the Diesels, which considering the $360 price point is the minimum I would expect. Less expensive than brands like Alden and Allen Edmonds, but much more expensive than my Thursday Boot Captains. The quality is there, but honestly, if I was a first-time purchaser trying to get the best value I could get, I might go with the Captains. I just don't know if what you're getting is worth the $160 price differential. The biggest difference being that they seem like a more expensive all-around better boot. I'm happy with my purchase, and I love the color, but I don't really know if I can recommend Grant Stone over simply waiting for Allen Edmonds to go on sale, which they so often do, or Thursday Boot Captains, which cost so much less. However, I can't really recommend either of those brands over Grant Stone either because these are some really good boots.